Scott here. Today, I want to talk about something that has been bothering me pretty much for 3 or 4 years now, and we can use the Hound Master as a good talking point to bounce this off of here. And it's the whole just woke in gaming thing as like a criticism, just the generic buzzword shit that you see on basically everything that has someone that's just not a white character or something like that. It's been getting worse and worse. And the reason this resonates so strongly with me is because, I'm 34 now. When I was growing up and playing games online, no one gave a shit about no one, like, my first online game was Diablo 2. And no one was like, man, that fucking Paladin's black. This woke ass Blizzard. This just no one gave a shit about any of this for a long time. It was really only starting like 3, 4, 5 years ago that people really started just calling shit woke as a descriptor to whatever the fuck they're currently actively complaining about. So the problem is we need to even just define woke to further the beginning of this conversation. And it doesn't have really a definition. Depending on who you ask, it has 20 different definitions. So from what I've seen, there's like 3 major ones. I want to focus on those. Now, to play devil's advocate a bit here, I would say the first one is the most rational, and I can even sympathize with it a little bit. But I feel like this is also a minority of people that use it in this way. This version of it is basically over pandering to the point where it's obvious that the corporation or company doing it doesn't give a shit about what they're currently representing. They just want to extract money from that demographic. And the problem is this does happen, but it's not like a very widespread or common thing. It's a very small portion of the time where this is actually true. Good example is like that Blizzard diversity paradigm from years ago. That was pretty cringe. I think most of us can agree on that. But the thing is, people that even have this somewhat rational definition overdiagnose this to almost everything. So even when things clearly are not doing what, like, Blizzard did there, for example, they still attribute it to it all the same, as if it's the same thing when it very clearly isn't. So I do agree that over pandering to the point of it being clear that they just want money from the demographic and that's all they give a shit about, like, they don't care about whatever, race or sexuality they're doing. They just want to just give me money, idiots. So I can understand that. But again, the problem is that's not a majority of it. That's a very small portion of the things that people call woke. And that's where the problem in that lies. It's not that their definition is stupid. It's just that they over attribute it to literally everything. And that's where it becomes a problem. The other, or the second definition is just, I mean, they're just racist. I don't know. They're just racist. Like, they're just racist people. They're homophobic, transphobic, whatever ist or obic under the sun. This is not a controversial opinion to have. I'm not making this up. You can literally just go on Twitter and people are happily and openly racist or whatever phobic. I don't know what has happened in the past. Well, Elon bought Twitter. That's what happened. But for the most part, these people are very okay with being open about this stuff. So I'm not like making this more dramatic to make a point. Like, you can just go on Twitter for 30 seconds. It's very obvious that people don't care about hiding this anymore. So that's one of the definitions. It's just whenever a game or a piece of media just has a not straight white dude in it, that's cool. And then there's probably the one that gamers use the most. And this one annoys me as well because it's basically just the way that they use woke is a substitution for legitimate criticism about something. A lot of people nowadays, instead of analyzing why something might not be good or appealing, just simply call it woke and move on. And I don't know what happened to, like, I don't know, rational discourse about balance or design or any of this stuff. They just don't do it anymore. They just slap a woke stamp on it. Fuck it, move on. Who cares? So a good example is the Hound Master. Like, I will talk about the Hound Master. Not a huge fan of the design. The Hound Master is supposed to be like a pirate, but to me, she doesn't really fit the appearance of a pirate. She's got more of, she looks like a rich noble from Arcane or something like that. She doesn't have like the cutlass, the parrot, I don't know, the hook, the peg leg. She's just got none of the telltale pirate signs that, when I heard we're going to get, a pirate demographic killer, basically, that's going to fit that niche that we did not have. I expected something a bit more pirate-like. I don't hate her design, but I'm not a huge fan of it either. But you'll notice there, none of what I said there was fucking woke, sweet baby ink DEI shit. I gave actual criticisms to the visual design of the character that don't necessarily match what I would like to see for that kind of role, like as a pirate. The problem is people, like I said, just use woke as a substitution for legitimate criticism. Again, like a Concord is a perfect example of that. Instead of going, oh yeah, this gameplay is not amazing, the sounds aren't great, the netcode's not great, the queue times are really bad, I don't like these powers, the overall gameplay loop is not great. All of these are legitimate criticisms that you can make about the game. It just simply wasn't very good. But again, they're just lazy now. They just go, well, move on, stamp it, don't care. No rational discussion, no discourse about what make the game good or bad. It's just woke because it has, I don't know, some black lady in it that I don't like, whatever. That's the most annoying part about like the way this definition is used. People are just lazy now. They just don't offer any good criticisms anymore. And that is, I think, what a lot of people that use it like this are currently doing. Even if it's not out of super malice or whatever, it's just lazy. It's just lazy. And I find that super frustrating. So bringing it back to the Houndmaster, I have seen just so many comments, like, and on certain people's channels, like I've even seen them, they're not even like, just a random one-off troll comment or like, some guy's just being a dick. Like they're like heavily upvoted, like they're at the top because like people are agreeing with it, just saying this woke Shaniqua ass, just general shithead statements like that. And I don't understand. The question I have to ask you guys that say shit like this: how do you have time in your lives? Do you have so little going on that you have the time in your day and in your heart and your brain to give any space to being upset that this character, for example, is black for some reason? Because you know damn well if this character had the exact same clothes, the same backstory and everything, but was just a white, Kultiran-looking giant pirate dude, no one would be saying that the character is woke. There would be none. They'd probably be going, this guy just looks like a rich person. It just looks like, it doesn't look like a pirate. Where's the parrot? Where's where's the voice? Where's all this stuff? And you know what? Those would be great, legitimate criticisms. But because she happens to be black, it just attracts these dipshits that just don't have the actual legitimate criticisms anymore. They just latch onto the fact that she is a black and she's a woman. That's it. That is just the only criticism that they give now is just those. They've boiled the gameplay down to those two things. They're not even talking about the dog and the power and all that stuff, which is way more valid of a discussion there. They're not talking about that. They've just boiled her down to two things that they don't like. And that is just like, how do you have time in your day to be upset by this shit? Like a normal person would just go, I don't like that, and move on. Like, how do people have time in their day to sit and rant about this? I can even forgive, like the right-wing grifter, like YouTube content creators or whatever, because at least they're monetizing it. At least they're getting something out of it. It's stupid, but at least I can see a tangible benefit to them for doing it. What the fuck are you guys like yelling in YouTube comments and Twitter? What are you getting out of this? How do you have so much time in your day to spend worrying about the race of a fictional character in a game? Like, how is your life that good that you just have no other problems that you can bitch about that? It's fucking insane to me. Like, what is your life right now that this is something you have time to complain about? I wish we could go back to the days where gamers criticize shit for being good or bad. And the problem is, nowadays, woke is just synonymous with bad. They just slap it on there without giving any thought. And a perfect example of that, by the way, is Baldur's Gate 3. I love Baldur's Gate 3 as a game, but I also love it for how much it just dismantles the shit that they're talking about. Because on a lot of these dipshits' heads, their brain is, if woke, it's an if-then statement. If woke, then bad. But Baldur's Gate good, therefore not woke? Like, their brains cannot rationalize this, so they actually double down on it and say Baldur's Gate 3 is not woke. The game with a literal genital slider, you can be trans, you can fuck everybody that you want. It is extremely fitting of their definition of woke, but they will actually fucking Neo-Matrix dodge backwards for it to fit whatever they're trying to say, but this is proof that they just use it as synonymous for bad. And since Baldur's Gate is not bad, it can't be woke. But again, it's just lazy criticism. That's what a lot of this boils down to. So anyway, I just want to rant about this for a while, because like I said, when I was growing up, none of this existed. This really only started like 4 or 5 years ago. If you look at the Google trends for woke, it rose like slightly. There was a little bump in like 2013. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sure there was some historical thing that happened there. But since then, it nothing really changed until like about like 2019, 2020. And then it's just been shot up since. And now we have people fake outraged about everything. The best part of it is the people that are outraged about all these games and all these things nowadays, they're not going to buy the game anyway. They don't give a shit. There's so many people that are just, they have zero involvement or investment to the thing that they're complaining about. They were never going to buy Concord or whatever the fuck they're currently bitching about. It was not even on their radar, but for some reason they like to, as much as they love making fun of, like, you know, liberal people for virtual signaling, they're just doing it in the opposite direction. And it's, oh God, there are some of the cringiest gamers that are currently alive right now. And again, I just don't know how you guys have the time of day to even care about this stuff. I would play a killer if it was an untextured T-posing fucking cube. It could be a Gary's Mod floating error symbol. As long as the gameplay was fun, and it was fun for people to go against, and it was overall good for the health of the game, that's all I would really care about. So I don't get you guys. I truly don't. I just have to assume you just are all fucking incel losers that have nothing better to do. I don't care that I am insulting you right now, because I think, frankly, you deserve to be insulted because you just contribute nothing to society. If a game is doing some cringe, overly pandering shit, you know what you do? Nothing. Just don't buy it. Don't talk about it. That's it. That's what a normal person would do. They would go, oh, this looks like shit, and move on with their life. Holy fuck, it's not hard.